Dark Elves Chosen by Celeste King. Episode 2. If you don't want the story to stop and can't wait till the next episode comes to YouTube, you can buy the ebooks from worldsofprotheka.com. If you liked the episode but wish that you had the steamy scenes too, you can get that from worldsofprotheka.com as well. Use discount code YouTube30 to get 30% off all digital products. And stay tuned after this episode for an interview with the characters about the story. Chapter 11. Julius. I knock on the door, expecting no response. After all, Savannah must be sleeping. I wait for a few moments, but when there's still no response, I grow more concerned. Finally, the door opens, and there she is. Her cheeks are flushed, and her dress is disheveled. Her hair is wild, and her lips swollen. I can only presume the cause. I take a breath, trying to keep my composure. "Good morning," I say, my voice a little hoarse. She looks away, embarrassed, and I can't help but smirk. "I came to check on you," I say, trying to inject a more light-hearted tone. She looks up at me, her eyes meeting mine. "I'm fine," she says, but I can still see the hint of color spread across her cheeks. I step into the room and close the door behind me. "I wanted to talk about last night," I say. Savannah nods, trying to appear attentive, but I can see her eyes dart away. She's still processing what happened moments ago. I reach out and take her hand, bringing her attention back to me. "Your father know that you are away from his estate?" "Well, he must know by now," she says. "So you ran away?" She nods, and that's when her stomach grumbles. I watch as her face gets another shade of red. "Would you like to join me downstairs for some breakfast?" I ask. She nods again, too mortified to speak. "Then prepare yourself for the day and I will see you in the main dining hall," I say. "Thank you," Savannah says as I turn to leave. Only then do I allow myself the smirk I've been keeping in. An hour later, she looks up as I enter, and for a moment, I am captured by her beauty again. The firelight dances across her face, and her eyes twinkle in the amber light of the room. I reluctantly shake myself out of my reverie and take my seat a few chairs away from her. "Tell me why you ran away from your father," I ask as we begin to eat. "My father is a good man," she says, "but he is too overprotective." "Protheka is full of monsters," I say. "He was only trying to protect you." "I know," she says, "but it feels like I'm living my life in a cage. I want to experience more of the world." She sighs and takes a sip of her tea. "I just want the freedom to make my own choices." "And that choice was to go to the Blue Dolphin?" She nods and looks away, her cheeks reddening. "I'm sorry," she murmurs. I reach out and take her hand, giving it a gentle squeeze. "It's okay," I say. "We all make mistakes." "But I almost got myself killed," she replies. "But you didn't," I answer. "You're here with me, safe and sound." Savannah looks up at me with a small smile. "Thank you," she whispers. I smile back and reach for her free hand, entwining my fingers with hers. "We'll get through this together," I say. Savannah's smile widens and she leans into my side. "Thank you," she says again. I look down at her and can't help but feel a warmth spread through my chest. It's a feeling I can't quite place, but it's definitely something new. And I like it. But no matter how much I like something, I must remember what she is. A tool to be used to protect my family. A tool to cast in the fire if necessary. I sigh to myself. "I wrote to your father last night and sent it by messenger," I say. "He is aware that you were accosted and that I rescued you. I have told him that I will bring you back to him." "I guess that's for the best," Savannah says, a bit disappointed. "Can't say I expected this to go any differently. I just wanted to see the world a little bit." "This world is cruel, dark, and filled with dread," I say, as she will soon find out.
Chapter 12. Savannah. Can we walk to my father's place if we're going to his quarters right outside the city? I ask. Julius looks at me. It's such a beautiful day. I say. I'm trying to delay having to see my dad as long as I can, and if walking there is going to do it, then so be it. Very well, he says. He takes my arm, and the two of us begin our walk through the city. The streets are empty at this very early hour of the day. Eventually we pass through the city gates and are walking in the country. Something about him compels me, and I don't trust the feeling. Did he smell my orgasms this morning? He never said anything. I'm certain his current chivalry is feigned, but I'm not sure. I'm hesitant to believe he's so agreeable all the time, because that would be too good to be true. I look into his face for signs of deceit and see nothing. Father warned me of strangers, especially of the dangers they pose to those of my race. He smiles, his straight teeth dazzlingly white, and my taxed heart nearly stops. I notice my breath hitch in my throat and the blush crawl up into my cheeks. I hate blushing. No one notices when a dark elf blushes, but my embarrassment plants its flag on my cheeks like a banner. You don't look like you're supposed to look, and everyone knows it. My legs feel like jelly, and my knees knock together when I try walking. I lean on him more than I want to, and every moment he seems closer to laughter. The corners of his flaming eyes wrinkle, his mouth tips up at the ends, and his rough, square jaw works as if to swallow his mirth. He walks slowly, allowing me to regain my footing, but I sense that he is bored of his task. Julius Rosenfire, I say slowly, testing the name in my mouth. I try not to focus on the thick muscle beneath my fingers or the long, skillful fingers, accentuated by the tattoos of flames that lick the backs of his hands. Of the Orthani Duchy. I try not to think about how well the ivory of my skin contrasts against the ebony of his, or how our fingers would look like perfectly carved piano keys if he were to thread his through mine. I realise I'm staring and try to fix my thoughts on my steps. Right, left, right, left. I nearly miss his answer. As well as some surrounding lands and territories, it produces very little agriculturally, but its military value is beyond reckoning. If you were to count... I lose him again as I notice the way his mouth moves when he speaks. He stops and I raise my eyebrows, attempting to look impressed with whatever it was he was boasting about. Ah, I see. I try sincerely to sound as if this is the truth, nodding my head profoundly. Now I have to think of something to say to change the subject so that he doesn't notice I wasn't listening. I can't tear my thoughts from how steady and wonderful his arm feels, or how he smells of grass, leaves and ash. Like the fires our Zagfa build in our hearths, but wilder. You're not listening. My cover didn't work. You know, for a human who was just saved from an elvish rapist, you're not very grateful. And you're pretty arrogant for a rescuer. The words are out of my mouth before I think about what I'm saying. This man could fry me in an instant. I didn't even see the bones of the elf that attacked me by the time I left. I could easily end up the same way. At this he laughs. He actually laughs. Brazen, I like it. I blush deeply again and smile, glad he didn't take the opportunity to blast me. Suddenly remembering where we are, my head snaps up. I dig my fingertips into the threads of his crimson jacket, subconsciously trying to slow him down, but he misses my warning. We're approaching the house, and I know what awaits us there if my father sees me with a stranger. Sure enough, we barely reach the marble steps leading to the colonnade, when the doors to the main entrance burst open and my father rushes out. This is going to be worse than the restaurant.
Chapter 13. Julius. If the deceiver took mortal form in Protheka and granted me a wish, he wouldn't have done a better job. Honestly, this couldn't get any better even if I made it up. Baron Friedman's daughter isn't sickly at all. She is human. A very beautiful human that gets my cock hard. But a human nonetheless. My insides are squealing with laughter and delight. This surely is young Lord Duke Friedman's weakness, not to mention the old Baron's. Grandfather will love this new development. He will be like a child at play with this information, and this definitely will invalidate Dukin's claim as the strongest fire wielder in Orthani. Once this information makes it to court, he will be ruined. To harbor a human, even if it is your daughter from a secret tryst, is technically against the law, unless she is also in a form of indentured servitude to your family, and you have a valid contract. But for Fae to keep humans in their dwelling without registration is a lawful crime, one that can get a noble family stripped of their titles and lands. And if the crime is serious enough, and the politics are done just right, it could get the noble family thrown in prison, or even executed if other crimes are discovered. As I lead the human girl towards her father's estate, I can feel her eyes on me. I turn to her, meeting her gaze and flashing a charming smile. I'm amused by the way her heart seems to skip a beat at the sight of me. It's all too easy. "Julius Rosenfire," she says slowly, testing my name in her mouth. I want to tell her that she can say my name as many times as she wants, preferably while writhing beneath me. "Did you enjoy walking me back to my home?" she continues. I nod, fully aware of the way my muscles bulge under the tight fabric of my shirt. I want to take her by the waist and pull her in close, maybe even press her against the nearest wall. But no, I must be patient and careful. I can't let my desires get in the way of my plans. As we approach the house, I can sense the tension in the air. The old Baron rushes out to meet us, his eyes immediately locking onto his daughter. I can see the fear and panic in his eyes as he realizes what this could mean for him. I enjoy the way his fear pleases me, but I must remain focused. "My lord," I greet him with a slight bow. "I am here to return your daughter safely to your home, as promised." "Julius Rosenfire," he says, "I never thought I'd see you set foot on my property. And I never thought I'd rescue a human woman from a common Orthani eating hall. But here we are." He nods curtly, but his eyes are shifting between me and his daughter. I can tell he suspects something, but he is trying to hide it. As we enter the house, I can feel my excitement building. This is just too good to be true. Once I reveal the truth about Savannah, Ducan's claims will be rendered invalid, and my position as the strongest fire wielder in Orthani will be secure. But first, I need to make sure the Baron keeps quiet. I turn to him, my voice low and serious. "My lord, I have a message for your son." He straightens up, looking slightly surprised. "What message?" I lean in close, my voice turning menacing. "Perhaps it is better after we are a bit rested. It was a long walk." The Baron's eyes widen, and he takes a step back, fear etched on his face. "You're right," he stammers out. "Savannah, why don't you go freshen up? Young Julius and I will catch up." "Good," I say, my tone becoming more pleasant as I turn to Savannah. "I must bid you farewell, my lady, until we meet again soon." She flushes before turning to go. I grin widely at him as if to wordlessly inform the old Baron that I will use my discovery against him and his family. The Baron steps towards us. "Savannah, you're lingering. Quickly now, go. Leave us to talk." I shift my gaze to Savannah, who seems hesitant to leave. Her eyes have yet to shift away from me. Is she love-struck? My face twists in disgust and disdain at the thought. Why would I love a human? A human who is beneath me? Granted, she is beautiful, and as much as it hurts to admit, I lost my cool a bit when I first laid eyes on her. There is something about her that I just can't put my finger on. She moves me. Baron Friedman raises his voice a final time. "Savannah! Now!" Savannah snaps out of her trance and scampers off quickly. Baron stares at me, his eyes fearful and pleading. My lips curl into a devilish smile as I stare back at him, laughing gleefully inside. "Baron Friedman, you have a very lovely daughter," I say, watching the color fade from the old Baron's flustered face. "So like her mother, I presume." "Yes," he says, defeat evident in his voice. For now, I say nothing else. I can't launch a hasty assault on the Baron and his family. I need to ensure that this man realizes I own him now. Otherwise, I'll miss out on a good opportunity to do the maximum damage to the Friedman family. For a moment, I think of the beautiful Savannah and feel a flash of guilt, but I push it aside. Why should I care what becomes of her? Or any of the Friedmans, for that matter? Besides, I'm not the one who caused this mess. I just intend to take full advantage of it. Baron Friedman is the one who tried to claim a human as his daughter and then hid her away from the rest of the world so no one would know. Clearly, the Baron thinks himself above the law. That's not my fault, regardless of how it all plays out and who gets hurt in the process. Elves cannot keep secret undeclared humans for any reason. The only thing that matters to me is power and gaining more of it in any way that I can. I must do everything I can to make sure that the Rosenfire clan never loses its power and influence in Orthani, no matter who gets hurt in the process. I watch her until she's out of sight, my mind already spinning different strategies and scenarios. There will be difficulties, I'm sure, but for once, I feel like luck may be on my side. Then I turn to the Baron. The game is on.
Chapter 14. Savannah. If I had a charm to eavesdrop on Julius and father, I would use it. I strain my ears to see if I can hear what they are saying, but a Zagfer is already rushing me to my quarters so that I can clean up from the long walk. Truth be told, I don't mind. As I trudge down the corridor alongside the butler, I glance behind me. We're a distance from the entrance now, but I can still see it. Well, if I'm being honest, I can still see him. It's strange, really, and bizarre. This is my first time meeting the Duke, or basically anyone for that matter. Why then can't I stop thinking about him? My mind keeps running over all the details. His thick muscles were perfectly defined under his raven-coloured skin. That intense crimson gaze seemed to bore into my soul. A grin spreads across my face, thinking his eyes match my hair. Heat starts to fill my cheeks. "Are you feeling all right, miss?" the Zagfer inquires. Huh? Oh, I'm fine. I let out a nervous chuckle and scratch my chin. My shoulders slump, the smile fading when we finally reach my room. "His lordship has instructed you to remain here for the time being. Please rest, miss. I will escort you to dinner shortly." He bows slightly before closing the door. I can't help but stare at the door. What did he mean by escort me? There's no way he's going to stay outside my room, is there? Curiosity gets the better of me, so I tiptoe over to the door. I lightly push the handle down, a small space slowly opening. I guess I wasn't as quiet as I thought. The Zagfer swivels his head around. "Was there something you needed, miss?" No, it's nothing." I slam the door shut, sliding against it to the floor. Is the situation that bad? Sure, I've been guarded my entire life, but never this closely. This whole thing only feeds the doubt I try to ignore every day. What is it that I did wrong anyway? I'm half-elf, who cares if I'm seen? That is, unless I'm not. I hate to admit it, but that's the sole explanation that makes sense. If I really am half-elf, as Dad says, would I need to hide like this? On the other hand, if I'm not, is that so terrible? Suddenly, I recall the Duke's gaze again. I remember there being amusement and mild interest, but there was something else. I believe it was somewhat close to contempt. I shake my head vigorously to toss out those thoughts. Who knows? Maybe that look is simply part of my imagination. That's right. I'm sure my brain created it because of that restaurant incident. Regardless, I really want to see his face again. After all, I have to show my gratitude properly. For saving me, a simple thank you isn't quite enough. Unfortunately, there's the little issue with my guard outside. How do I get past him? He'll be monitoring me until dinner time at least, but then what? Is Dad going to have him watch me afterward too? Before I can come up with any ideas, the stretching shadows catch my attention. I gawk out the window to see the sky has turned deep orange and red. The sun sluggishly descends with the moon taking its place. I start to rise, realizing it's almost dinner time. My breath hisses through my teeth at the tingling pain in my legs. While massaging the sore spots, my eyes wander over my appearance. Grass-stained shoes aside, I mentally count all the rips in my clothes. Well, this won't do. There isn't enough time for me to enjoy my usual leisurely bath. However, I surely can't go to dinner like this. What will the Duke think? Dear God, am I so hung up on him already that I care what he thinks? To stop the repeat of a tirade of questions, I hop into the shower. Cleaning up quickly, I rush to my closet to choose an outfit. Looking over my options, I can't pinpoint which would be best. I've never been fond of fancy clothes, and I'm still not. My tastes are much more simple. Then again, I'm not sure he'll notice anything simple. Will whatever I pick really be enough? Right then, I jump at the knocking that interrupts my inner debate. "Miss, it's time to head to the dining room," the Zagfa calls. "Okay, just a moment." I settle on a long-sleeved dress that reaches the ground. Though loose around the arms and legs, it hugs my waist and hips perfectly. I dart over to the mirror, releasing my hair from its bun. Switching between my hands and a brush, I manage to somewhat tame my fiery curls. "Miss?" the Zagfa hails again. "Yes, I'm coming." I fluff my hair one last time and check my reflection. Satisfied and hoping the Duke will be too, I bolt to the door. I let out a sigh once I open it. Let's get going. I take off down the hallway without verifying if the butler follows. As I walk fidgeting with my fingers, my mind races. Any luck escaping my warden may have failed, but there's a bright side. The wish I have to see the Duke is about to come true. It's just a shame we'll meet at dinner instead of a more private setting. In my head, I wonder over and over how this second encounter will go. We pass by my dad's study as the 100th scenario runs through my head. I pause when I hear his and Duke Rosenfire's muffled voices. There is no one present escorting me to the dining room. My guard is far enough behind to give me at least a few moments alone, so I'm going to listen. I know I shouldn't eavesdrop, but I have to know if they're talking about me. I feel as if my life depends on it. I hear my father speak. I can't just...
Chapter 15. Julius. "I can't get over how beautiful your daughter is, Baron," I say once more with a cruel smile. "Go fuck yourself, Duke," the Baron replies back. "Now, is that any way to speak to the man who holds your fate in his hands?" "My fate is my own," he spits in response. I chuckle in amusement. "You have more to worry about than you realize. Your daughter is a human. Your son Dukan's magic is a threat to the peace in Orthani. It's only a matter of time before he causes more problems, and you have to find a way to make sure he doesn't." "How is he a threat to the peace of the city?" "Because he challenges the Rosenfires," I say. "And if challenged, there will be blood." "So he's a threat to you?" "Well, yes," I say. "But your daughter is probably more of a threat to you than you ever realized. Foolish old man. What did you think holding a human under your roof? Did you think no one would find out?" "You leave her out of this," he sputters. "Why would I ever do that?" "She's innocent." "And how many innocents do the minds you control kill every day? How would your dear daughter like to know that her father has a controlling interest in minds that grind out her people daily to line your pocket?" "You're no better, Duke," the Baron says. "But I don't claim to be," I say back. "And I don't hide a human without registering her with the court. That alone will get your assets stripped. But who knows what you've hidden? Maybe I'll own your mines, and you and your son can work them. And your daughter? Maybe I'll give her to my friend who will let his Naga soldiers out in Nagaland use her." "Stop, Duke. They have two cocks, you know?" I ask. "Between them lining up to fuck a soft human and doing it 2 or 3 at a time, I don't know that there will be much left of her after a week or so." "Please stop," he begs. "Then listen to me," I say. "Remove Dukan from Orthani politics. It's for your own good." There's a silence. What the Baron doesn't know is that I could never send Savannah away. Most likely I would pay to own her and keep her close. There's something about her I can't place, but there is no way I'd let a Naga touch her, or anyone that wasn't me. "I understand," the Baron says solemnly. "Good. I suggest you send him away, far away from here. Let him make his fortune somewhere else, preferably somewhere on another continent. Maybe even Milthar. I don't know, I don't care." The Baron's face contorts in rage. "What kind of monster are you?" I stand up and walk over to him. "You know exactly what I am. I'm the man who holds your fate in his hands, the man who will make sure everything that needs to be done gets done. Either you take my suggestion and send your son away, or I will make sure your daughter never sees the light of day, and your son will be locked away for all eternity. Your decision." The Baron's face falls and he quickly capitulates. "I can't just..." That's when I hear some rustling. Someone is approaching. I make a motion to the Baron. He turns and we both pivot around the wall. Savannah is standing on the other side of the door, by the deceiver. How much did she hear?
Chapter 16. Savannah. The Duke calmly shifts his torso and head towards where I am, though not entirely facing me. I swear I can see something flicker in his eyes before he smothers it, turning back. I tuck my chin to cover the smirk on my face. "How long were you listening, Savannah?" Dad asks. "I wasn't, Father. I just got here. What were you talking about?" I ask. "Go on ahead to the dining room, Savannah. I'll join you shortly." I falter briefly, but decide to bob my head in reply. "Okay, Dad." My smile is wider when I catch the Duke stealing another glance as I leave. I finally arrive at the dining room. While waiting, I replay my dad's words from earlier. "I'll join you shortly," is what he said. So then dinner will be with just the two of us. As confirmation, I whirl around at the sound of approaching footsteps. My entire body goes limp when I only see my dad entering. Huh? What's wrong with me? Am I really disappointed that he's not here too? I perk myself up and plaster on a smile. It droops a bit as my dad's worried expression comes into view. My gaze follows him, reaching the head of the table and dropping into the chair. After a few minutes, I carefully reach out and grasp his hand. "Dad, what's wrong?" The Zagfer bring out dishes and place them on the table. My father covers my hand and flashes that fatherly smile I love so much. "Nothing, sweetheart, it's nothing." The Zagfer lifts the covers from our plates. "Let's eat," Dad says with absolutely no enthusiasm. "Is Duke Rosenfire not joining us?" I ask innocently. "He'll be taking his food in his quarters," Dad says distractedly. We get into the familiar rhythm of sharing a meal together. I share the usual mundane details about my day, careful to avoid mentioning my escapade off the property. Surprisingly, he isn't too keen to bring it up either. Even though I'm expecting a scolding, it doesn't come. The glazed eyes and food poking with his fork tell me my dad is clearly distracted. I want to ask him questions and ask him to share the burden of what bothers him, but I know better. He'll brush it off somehow and make light of it like always. It's obvious his talk with the Duke is troubling him. In the end, I decide to stay silent. I quickly finish my food first, so I can excuse myself. Before leaving, I come to the side of my dad's chair and kiss him on the cheek. "Good night, Dad. Get some rest, okay?" He pats my hand on his shoulder. "You too, darling." For a moment I linger there. "Come, miss," the Zagfer prods softly. Along the way to my room, my eyes dart to the study as we pass it again. Of course, he isn't there. He's probably in one of the guest rooms by now. But which one? I think I heard the Zagfer speak in the past about the East Wing being for guests. There's only one way to find out if that's still true. We reach my room in no time, and thankfully the Zagfer doesn't stay. I wait a couple of hours while everyone settles in for the night. Once I hear the bell signalling it's midnight, I set out. Finding the East Wing isn't the problem, it's the distance. Naturally, the guards are patrolling the corridors, even at this time. I barely get by with squeezing into a dark corner when they get close. I skirt and dash across the passageway, turning the heads of a few guards. Escaping the last of them, I see it, a flitting light under one of the doors. I'm not sure how long I pace, raise my hand to knock, then pace again. I sigh, ready to give up when an arm wraps around my waist. After yanking me inside, a strong hand covers my mouth, muting my scream. "Well, well," I hear a sultry tone in my ear. "Now what, Miss Friedman? Could you be doing outside my door at this ungodly hour?" My cheeks heat up as I'm stunned into silence.
Chapter 17. Julius. By the deceiver, this woman makes my blood boil in the most delicious of ways. The rush of adrenaline from her presence is making it hard for me to speak, and I don't need her catching any hint of falter. It's comical to think that I was even the least bit tired a few minutes ago. She looks down at the floor, silent. I tilt my head so I meet her downcast eyes. This seems to catch her by surprise, and her gaze snaps to mine. "Apologies, Your Grace," she chokes out, and I can't help but notice a lovely pink flush creeping onto her face. "I didn't mean to intrude. I'll go now." She tries to slip away, but my grip on her wrist tightens. She gasps, confused. It's endearing and alluring all at the same time. I asked you what you're doing here. I bend down and murmur the words in her ear. You are not allowed to leave without answering my question. She looks up at me through a fringe of long lashes, gently biting her pink full-bottom lip. An auburn curl falls in front of her face, and it takes all the self-control I have not to tuck it behind her ear. I wanted to see you, she says, barely above a whisper. The pause is heavy between us. The fire crackles in my bedroom hearth. You wanted to see me? I ask incredulously. Yes. Why? She stops herself from saying anything more, and I feel my patience curdle. I'm sorry, she states, blushing harder than before. This was a mistake. I'll just go. I don't want to disturb you. Once again, Savannah tries to turn to twist the doorknob, but I firmly push my palm into the door, blocking her. She turns to face me again, and I lean down again, closer to her than I have dared to try before. I feel myself getting almost drunk off of the sweet smell of her perfectly curled hair. When I am around this woman, I am completely at ease. The pressures of my royal standing, the shame of my failures, and the incredible drive to be the best all seem to melt away with her easygoing nature. Nothing else seems to matter much but her. My very thoughts calm when she enters the room. I find myself fixated on her tiny complexities, her kind, trusting personality, her scent, the way she bites her lip when she's thinking about something. Her eyes lock with mine again, and it is for the first time that I notice her eyes have little flecks of gold in them. My grandfather's abuse, his harsh words, are replaced with Savannah's soft, gentle ones. My stomach always forms icicles when I must enter his chambers or read his detached, condescending letters. His words strike me like a coiled snake, full of poison and superiority. With Savannah, each word that rolls off her tongue is sweeter than honey. She won't ever try to hurt me or make me feel as if I am less. She is the picture of beauty and kindness, like a benevolent goddess that has been summoned just for me. And isn't that what a duke deserves? I push grandfather's punishments and cruelty out of the confines of my mind, replacing them with new images of the woman before me as I'm granted the smooth, warm touch of her skin. Without thinking, I duck my head into her neck, inhaling the sugary perfume of her curls. I feel her freeze, her shoulders riding up. "Well, what are you doing?" she asks ingenuously, and it hits low and hard in my gut. "Stay still," I instruct, dropping my voice down an octave. A tiny shiver racks her body. I see her pulse jump, and I press my mouth against her throat to taste it, licking a slow, wet path up her neck. A small moan escapes Savannah's lips, and I capture her mouth with mine, wanting to get a taste of that too. Her mouth opens in surprise, and I slide my tongue along hers, my hands lifting to cradle her face. She tastes faintly of mint leaves and something else I can't put my finger on. She inhales shakily before pushing softly at my chest, and I reluctantly pull away from her to look at her face, allowing myself to catch my breath for a few seconds. "We shouldn't," she reasons rather unconvincingly. "Why shouldn't we?" I counter, brushing my lips against hers. "Don't you want this?" "No, she does not." I hear a voice boom to my side. I turn. The Baron is standing there, and he looks mad.
Chapter 18. Savannah. "Dad, this isn't what it looks like," I start to say, but I stop myself. Because it's exactly what it looks like. "Savannah," Dad says coldly. "Step away from the Duke." "Baron, I think you're overreacting a bit," Julius says. "You come into my home and threaten my son and daughter, and then you dare to lay your hands on her," Dad asks in anger. "Wait, what? Threaten?" "Julius, what's he talking about?" I ask. But Julius ignores me. "Baron, you're making a mistake," he growls. "You think your magic will keep you alive?" Dad asks. "I know it will," Julius replies. His voice doesn't waver and his eyes stay calm. He doesn't even flinch at Dad's threats. "You're foolish if you think that," Dad says. You're at my mercy now. This is my home and my family. I won't allow anyone to threaten what's mine. He steps closer to Julius. Leave, now. I don't think so. Then prepare to die, Dad snarls. What is going on? You want to fight, old man, Julius snarls back. I want you to meet one of my soldiers, Dad says, and steps back. A large, dark elf walks down the hall. His skin is marked with runes that glow. This is Drizzt Drazir, Dad says. He wields powers given to him by the hunter. That means if you don't leave, he'll have to fight you. My heart is pounding and my mouth drops open. I sense a magical aura growing around Julius. But Drizzt Drazir is prepared. Fire races out of Julius's hand, and it meets a lightning bolt of crackling energy from Drizzt. The two forces clash together, and the room fills with a blinding light. I cover my face as the magical energy engulfs us. I can hear the clash of two forces in the air around us. Then, everything goes quiet. I open my eyes to see Julius and Drizzt facing off, their spells and powers surrounding them in a magical battle. Sparks fly from each of their hands as they strive for dominion over one another. The energy radiates through the room like an electrical current, charging the atmosphere with power and intensity. It's clear that Julius is no match for Drizzt's powerful spells, and I fear he won't be able to hold out much longer. But then, something unexpected happens. Julius's magic suddenly intensifies, and I can tell his power is growing stronger by the second. He stands tall and proud in front of Drizzt and unleashes a wave of fire that races out from his hand towards the dark elf. At the same time, a lightning bolt of crackling energy shoots from Drizzt's hand towards Julius. The two forces collide in midair with a deafening crash, creating a blinding light that fills the room. Through the light, I can make out two distinct forms battling it out. Julius has conjured an image of himself to fight against Drizzt's dark spirit. The battle wages on, and I am in awe of the intensity and power of their magical display. Suddenly, a sound rips through the air like a thunderclap. Up in the corner of the room, Dad holds up a glowing amulet with a strange symbol on it. The amulet flashes, and an invisible force takes hold of the room. In the next instant, a giant metallic creature appears from a portal in the sky. Its wings stretch as far as the eye can see, and a roar like thunder booms through the room. The creature's eyes lock with mine, and I feel its power radiating through me. Who commands the demon Rakjalsa from the plains of Erasak? The creature asks. I do, demon, Dad says with strength and conviction. Kill this elf. Dad points to Julius. The demon looks over and then he sniffs. You are the dark elf that destroyed the one you know as the ethereal, the demon declares. Fighting you will be a pleasure. Julius looks at the demon with a mix of surprise and horror. How do you know that? He asks, his voice shaking. The demon chuckles menacingly. I know many things, dark elf, and now you will die. Julius looks around frantically, searching for a way out. But he's surrounded on all sides by magical spells and forces. The demon descends on him, its claws outstretched, ready to tear him apart. In a sudden burst of energy, Julius conjures a wall of fire around himself. The demon howls in pain as the flames engulf it, and for a moment it retreats. But the respite is short-lived. With a powerful flap of its wings, the demon sends a wave of energy crashing towards Julius. He tries to dodge, but the force of the blast sends him flying across the room, slamming him into a wall. I scream as I watch him fall to the ground unmoving. No! I cry, rushing to his side. Julius! Julius! Wake up! But he doesn't move. His eyes are closed, and he's not breathing. Dad steps forward, a triumphant smirk on his face. I believe we've made our point, he says icily. Take him away. Throw his body in the homeless quarter. They'll rob him of his clothes, and it'll look like a mugging. The guards come forward and pick up Julius's lifeless body, carrying him out of the room. I'm left standing there in shock, unable to process what just happened. Suddenly I realise that I am in danger too. Dad is still standing there, looking at me with a cold, calculating stare. You, he says, his voice dripping with venom. You betrayed me. What are you talking about? I ask, my heart racing. I didn't betray anyone. You were with that elf, he replies. I don't know why you killed him. And you will not have to, Dad says. I protected you. Now I can no longer protect you. You'll have to stay in the tower until I can figure out what to do. I would try to protest, but the rough hands of Dad's guards, not Zagfa, but actual soldiers, pick me up and start dragging me away. I struggle against their hold, but their grip on me is too strong. Tears fill my eyes as I'm taken away from the only home I've ever known, the only family I've ever had. Please let me go, I plead, my voice choked with emotion. I didn't do anything wrong. It's not up to us, one of the guards says gruffly. Just do as you're told. They drag me through the halls and down the stairs, the sound of their footsteps echoing through the empty corridors. I feel utterly powerless, completely at their mercy. Finally, we reach a small, cramped room at the end of a dimly lit hallway. It's nothing like the luxurious suite I've lived in for most of my life. It's dirty, dingy, and smells of mould and decay. The guards shove me inside, slamming the door shut behind me. I'm alone, stranded in this unfamiliar place with no one to turn to and no hope of escape. My mind races as I try to come up with a plan, but my thoughts are jumbled and my emotions are in turmoil. I curl up in a ball, my knees pulled up to my chest, and let out a sob of despair. How could everything have gone so wrong? How could my own dad do this to me?
Chapter 19. Julius. Fuck. That's the first thing I think when I wake up, and then the world goes black again. When I open my eyes again, I see the moon in the sky. Quick, get his shoes, I hear. I try to move, but my body is broken. Pain shoots through every part of me, and I groan in agony. Hey, he's awake, another voice says, closer this time. I feel someone tugging at my feet, trying to remove my shoes. I try to resist, but I'm too weak. Don't worry, my lord, the second voice says. We're just taking your shoes. You're in good hands. I try to open my eyes wider, but my vision is blurry. I can make out two shadowy figures looming over me. Who are you? I manage to croak out. Just some friendly neighborhood scavengers, the first voice says. We're just helping ourselves to a few things. What did you take? I ask. Your shoes, some of your clothes, your purse, and your keys, the second voice replies. Don't worry. We'll make good use of them. I try to struggle, but it's no use. My body is too battered and bruised. Please, I beg. I need help. Can you call a city guard? The two figures exchange a look and then burst out laughing. Nah, we'll just leave you here to die, the first voice says. I close my eyes, anguish contorting my face. Is this really how it ends? Alone and broken in an alley, robbed of everything I had left. I look around me. The buildings are decrepit. Neglect rules this part of Orthani. The homeless quarter. Walled in, the southern part of the city holds the homeless and destitute with nowhere else to go. The city puts all races, whether they are human, elf, or anyone else who does not have the money to put a roof over their head into this zone. They let the local population sort itself out. Sure, there are businesses that sell to the homeless, but there are just as many slavers looking for labor, sorcerers looking for test subjects, and criminals looking for a mark. I will not die here, nameless and afraid. These shoes will fetch a nice price on the market, one of the voices says. One thing, I say. What's that, my lord? You'll be dead before you can do anything. Pain courses through my body and nearly makes me throw up as I push myself through my feet. Lundek! I mouth the words to a dark magic spell I know. An unholy light shoots out from me, courtesy of the guide. Fuck! Both of the voices scream as the light coalesces on their bodies. I can feel the energy being drawn out of the two bodies of my scavengers and coming to me. I gasp as the power surges through me, revitalizing my battered body and healing my wounds. I feel stronger and more alive than I have in days. I look down at my hands, surprised to see that they're glowing with a faint violet light. The power of the spell is still coursing through me, filling me with an almost electric energy. I pull myself to my feet, feeling a newfound sense of strength and determination coursing through my veins. But as I look around me, I realize that I'm still in the homeless quarter, surrounded by filth and poverty. I need to find a way out, a way back to the city proper. I take a step forward, my head held high, and begin walking down the alleyway. I don't know where I'm going or what I'll find, but I know that I have to keep moving forward. As I make my way through the winding streets of the quarter, I see the true face of Orthani. Poverty, desperation, violence. This is the reality of the city, the underbelly that most people don't even know existed. "My lord, please help!" one of the voices gasped. I look down at him. Only now do I realize they were both dark elves. Like me. No bother. I redouble my focus and strengthen the intensity of the spell. "No!" they both gasp. Their gasp then turns into a gurgle. And then, almost as if being choked from the inside, they crumple to the cobblestone pavement. I look around my surroundings. Anyone else that would have come closer to take anything else of mine has wisely kept away. While I've taken the life force of the two dark elves, I'm still weak. But hopefully I can find my way out of the homeless quarter. I just need to get to a gate, talk to a city guard, and I'll gather some of my men and go find Baron Friedman. I'll personally stab him with my blade, and then take his daughter back to my place. At least that's the plan. But as I start to walk, I feel another sharp pain. I've been hit in the head. Hard. The world starts going black again as I too fall to the cobblestone pavement.
Chapter 20. Savannah. A part of me wonders if every man I kiss going forward will be killed by Dad. What came over him? Did he and Julius argue before dinner? I've never seen my dad harm a fly. And then tonight he literally ordered the killing of a man who had rescued me. I don't have any timepiece, so I don't know how long I've been in this tower. It might be a day. It might be less. I know that meals are placed outside the door and then taken away and replaced at intervals. Then, as I am lying on the bed, I hear the lock clang and the door opens. Dad steps in. "Oh, Savannah," he says, I'm so sorry for all this." "Dad, what's going on?" I ask, rising to my feet. "I know you have questions, daughter." "You bet I do," I scream. "Why did you kill Julius?" Now, he tries to be calm. "And why did you lock me in here? Because I tried to see the city?" "Please let me explain," Dad says. Something in his eyes tells me to calm down. He's sad and serious. Something bad is about to happen. "What is it?" I ask, my heart racing. "Savannah, I'm sending you away. To a place called Cario near Nagaland," he says solemnly. "What? Why?" I demand, my mind reeling. "For your own safety," he explains. "No one can know that you're human, and that I've been harbouring you for so long. It's not safe for either of us." "But what about Dukan and my friends?" I plead. "For Dukan's sake, I need to send you away so he can consolidate his power and bring you back at a safer time," he says. "I promise you, Savannah, I'll do everything in my power to protect you and bring you back safely." I sink onto the bed, my mind racing. This can't be happening. "You'll travel in comfort, and you'll be well taken care of," Dad says. "I've spared no expense. A convoy will be leaving Orthani in the morning and taking you to Voig, where you'll board a ship that will sail to Nagaland." "I don't want to leave," I sniffle. "I know, Savannah," he says. "If I could, I would post more guards at your door to keep you from leaving last night. Maybe we'd still have our innocence, and none of this would have happened." "This all happened because of me, didn't it?" I ask. "If I hadn't snuck out, then I wouldn't have met Julius and brought him back. And you wouldn't have had to kill him." Dad is silent. We both know I am right. "When do I leave?" I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. "Tonight," he responds, taking my hand. "I'm sorry, Savannah. I never wanted it to end like this." Tears stream down my face as he leaves the room and locks the door behind him. I'm alone once again, but this time it's different. I'm being ripped away from everything I've ever known and sent into the great unknown. The thought terrifies me, but I know I have to be strong. For Dukan's sake, for my own sake. "Damn it all to Glauces," I yell. I can't be strong. I start to cry. No one is there to help me. No one is there to protect me. I am forsaken. Even my father, who protected me to the point of putting me in a gilded cage, is finally opening the door and pushing me out. I wanted to see the world. I guess this is it.
Welcome to Chronicles of Protheka, our exclusive interview segment after each Dark Elf's Chosen episode. This is exclusive content for our YouTube listeners and can't be found anywhere else. I'm your host, Mythos the Chronicler, and I'll be taking you on a journey through the worlds of Protheka as told by the characters themselves. Today, we're joined by the two main characters of the moment, Julius Rosenfire of the Orthani Rosenfires, and Savannah Friedman, daughter of the Honorable Baron Friedman. Welcome both.
Thank you, Mythos.
Pleasure to be here.
So, you guys have had some very straight and narrow lives that have been upended, haven't they?
I mean, I kissed a man, and my father seemed to banish me.
To be fair, you also spent the night at the Rosenfire Manor. She kissed me. But had Baron Friedman not interrupted, I would not have been satisfied with just a kiss. I would have taken more.
Would you now, Julius?
You know how the provocative scenes are censored on YouTube and you need to buy them on worldsofprotheka.com to get access to them?
Yes.
Well, if your father hadn't come in when he had, the scene would have become so hot that they wouldn't even be able to have it on the shop.
Quite the charmer, aren't we, Julius?
A poet, a warrior, and...
And?
Let's not get into that.
Fair enough. So, tell me, Julius, when we were last with you, you were dumped in the homeless quarter and robbed of everything, even your shoes?
Yes. It was a low point in my life. Until then, I was the best. There's no point beating around that bush. So, to have found myself in that position was unsettling, but I am the type of dark elf who seizes every moment and turns it to their advantage.
So you're confident things are going to get better?
Well, actually, Chronicler, I fear that first that they will get a lot worse.
Are you feeling a little guilty about having to use Savannah?
Well, yes, of course. I mean, look at her. Look at that face. That body. It makes my blood boil with desire whenever I even think about her. But my family is counting on me.
So, no guilt?
No, Chronicler. That's not what I said. Of course I have guilt. But I'd have guilt either way. And Savannah, she's just a
human is what I think Lord Rosenfire means. A human who apparently was hidden by her father. Hiding a human is against the law in Orthani. All humans must be reported and registered.
Can you help educate our listeners why they need to be registered?
I'll answer. I want to spare her the disturbing nature of the answer.
Very noble of you, Julius. Go ahead.
Humans need to be registered in Orthani in case they are to be sold. Registration exists, so one dark elf cannot cheat another dark elf by selling him or her a human who is useless.
A rather brutal and horrible aspect of Protheka.
There are many things to despise about Protheka.
What do you love and hate the most about it?
Orcs.
Love or hate?
Hate. What else?
Oh, and why's that?
I would say that was obvious. Have you ever met one?
A few. And you, Savannah?
If I'm being completely honest, and Julius, no offence intended, I'd say dark elves.
What?
Not you, of course, Julius, but you have to admit all the ones we have encountered so far haven't been very nice. We've just been speaking about how dark elves buy and sell humans.
Dark elves buy and sell orcs too, as well as naga and manticores, and they do the same to everyone else.
Our entire world is built on a seed of cruelty.
She has a point.
You know, now that I have finally met the both of you, I can see why fate has brought you together. You guys are certainly two kaffa beans in a pod.
Yes, we are. But I'm still going to kill her brother.
And I'm still planning on escaping from my father's grip.
Sounds like we have a lot to look forward to on future episodes. And we'll end it there. Listeners, let's bid our guests farewell until next time. And remember, the truth cannot be told until you discover it. Thank you for joining Chronicles of Protheka. Until next time.